gentlemen, boys and girls, this is Mr. Dan and welcome to this video. In this quick video, I just wanted to go over very quickly on the types of materials that I think you would need, the bare minimum materials that you need to succeed in this class. Now, obviously, if you can get more than these, the more the merrier, more power to you. But if budget is of concern, then I think these will be enough to help you succeed in this class. So the first thing I want to dive into is the pencil sharpener. Now, I like this pencil sharpener because it's solid metal. It's made in Germany by a company called Stadler. You can get these on Amazon, I believe, and at stores. I believe you can find these at stores like Michael's or Hobby Lobby. Anyways, I would get these sharpeners instead of the plastic ones that you see in schools many times, because the plastic ones, they break down really easily. Whereas this, I've used this for like 20 years and it's still working great. You know, the blades kept sharp, over the years, and they're just relatively easy to leverage and be able to make this sharpening job quite easy. Okay, so this is the first thing. So the second things I like to talk about are the erasers and the whiteouts. Now, the particular eraser I like to use is made by also made in Japan by Tombow, and their product line is called Mono. This is great, and this has been around for at least 30 years, as far as I can remember from my childhood. I just dated myself. As far as I can remember in my childhood, this thing has been here, and what I love about this is that it is really soft, and it picks up on the graphite of the pencil really quickly and easily. I just love how smooth it is. So, and they're not that expensive, and they're pretty easy to find. I believe you can find these at Walmart as well. If at least on Amazon, you could find these pretty easily on Amazon. So that's for the eraser. Now, I also have whiteout. Now, whiteout can come in handy when you make mistakes in the inking or the coloring process. This will give you a chance to be able to apply some white to cover up some of the mistakes that you may make when you're in the inking and the coloring process, because as you know, once you ink something or you color something, you cannot erase it unless you have something like this. So this comes in handy. Now, the third thing I like to talk about are the pencils. Now, as you can see here, there are automatic pencils like this one, and also just the regular pencils like these. Now, both of these pencils are fine. Whichever you can get your hands on is totally fine. I like to use automatic pencil a little bit more, just because they always stay sharp. Whereas with this pencil, which is totally fine, you just need to keep them sharp, keep them as sharp as possible, as much as possible, and keeping a sharp pencil really helps make a sharp drawing. So I like to keep it sharp like that. Okay. Next thing to talk about would be the ink pens. Now, the ink pens that I have, they come in two sizes. This is what's important. The brand isn't that important. There are different brands out there. There's Sakura, there's Stadler. I think even Sharpie makes their own brand of this, and they have different names to it. Some call it pigment liner, Pigma liner, Pigma micron, fine liner, and they all have different names, but they all look similar. Okay, if you open them up, they look like something like this. What's important though is I would try to buy two different sizes of this kind of pen. Usually something small like a 01. This is millimeter, I believe. Yeah. And a 05. So 01s are very thin. They look like something like this, and 05s are basically doubling the thickness. This one's a little bit dry, but 05s will look a little bit thicker, a little darker. So I find that these two sizes will are necessary. They are needed to be able to create any kind of finished line art on your manga character drawing. So I would get at least 2 sizes like this. I would avoid buying sizes that are any size that are larger than a 0.5. You'll see that sometimes they sell 0.8 or 1.0 sizes that are like really thick. They're almost like, tiny Sharpie markers. I would probably avoid getting those unless if you're working on a very big drawing. So for small drawings, like the ones that were working like this, I would stick with a 0.1 and a 0.5. Those sizes are at least for me, they are the most comfortable. And last but certainly not the least are the markers. Now, markers play a crucial, essential role as you move on to finish your artwork with coloring and whatnot. Now, there are so many different types of markers out there you can get, and because they are expensive, so a lot of times, affording them and buying them can become an issue for some of our students. So that's why in this class, I recommend that if nothing else, try to at least obtain 2 colors that will be essential to create any character. I would get first and foremost a skin tone marker, something like this that looks kind of like a light beige, light peach, light yellowish kind of a color. So in this particular brand, which is called the Copic, Copic markers are just amazing. They're also made in Japan. They're also expensive, about $8 per piece. So there are other brands out there that you can buy that are much cheaper, and they work almost just as well. Okay, so E11 is kind of the standard issued skin tone marker color that you get in the Copic brand, so I would get at least one of these. This is called barley beige. Yeah, barley beige right here. Okay, and I would also get a black marker. Now, the black marker is handy because for several reasons. One, it could help you fix some of the inking mistakes that we make during the line art phase of the drawing. But probably more importantly, black is great for hairstyle, for creating hair highlights like this. And during the class, towards the end of the class, I would be able to show you how to use a marker like this to be able to create highlights that you can see here. Now, just to be fair, this drawing, in case you think that you need to have fancy markers like this to be able to achieve this kind of effect, I made this entire drawing using nothing but Crayola. And Crayola works great if you know how. If you know your marker skills, which we're going to teach in the class, it almost doesn't matter what kind of color markers you use. You could use Crayola. You could use cheaper markers. You could use Copic markers. It almost does not matter. It's just down to personal preference what type of marker you will want to use. But if you can, when you purchase the marker, if you can, try to buy a marker that has a brush tip like this. This is like a brush, so you could use it like almost like a calligraphy thing, like that. And also a chisel tip like this, a hard tip like this. I love these chisel tip markers because of the way they're shaped. You could use them to create like at least 2 different kinds of thickness, line thickness, maybe even 3. So sometimes you can make thin lines, pretty thin lines like this, and you can flip it around and make these really gigantic, broad strokes like that. So I really, really like the chisel marker. And the brush tip is also great for creating certain textures as well. So there you have it. Anyways, that's it. This is my quick introduction. Sorry it took so long. Of the very essential materials that I believe you will need to be able to succeed in this class. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. I'd be more than happy to answer them for you prior to our first class. Anyways, this is Mr. Dan. Thanks for watching this, and I hope to see you soon in our first class. Bye!